Fox News alert, President Trump firing back after the appeals court refuses to reinstate his immigration order. So what happens next? Former prosecutor David Bruno is here to weigh in. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
So at the very beginning, let's take a look at this court decision. You explain to us what this means exactly. Now, the government, they pointed to no evidence that any alien from any of the countries named in the order, by the way, has penetrated a terrorist attack in the United States. What does that mean?
Yeah, this issue right here goes to the stay, because in the Ninth Circuit, what the United States government argued was that this court should stay the first stay. And when a court when a court considers whether or not to stay, they look at four factors.
Meaning keep the travel ban pause in place.
Yeah, that's what the first court did. The district court said we are going to stay the executive order.
Standstill.
So what they did is they appealed that decision to the Ninth Circuit.
Right.
And the Ninth Circuit had to make a decision whether or not to stay the stay.
Right.
And in the course of their consideration, they were determining whether or not there'd be irreparable harm if they did not stay. And they said that the United States government did not point to any specific facts or threats. They did not provide any evidence to show there's irreparable harm.
I think the people that are concerned about this, the decision of whether or not our national security is at risk now rests in the hands of these three judges.
Yeah, sure. The Constitution, Article 2, says the president is the commander-in-chief and responsible for our national security.
So how could they do this, and then what happens next? It seems like they would take it to the Supreme Court.
Well, that's an option for the government, and they're going to probably make that decision today, whether or not. But what's interesting is these two courts have made decisions, but neither of the two courts are actually final decisions because they're only whether or not to stay the ban. In fact, the Ninth Circuit itself still has work to do. There's a briefing schedule that's going to take place in March, and they're going to fully argue the appeal of the federal court decision.
So when they do that, what is the purpose of that? Because I know this particular decision itself was just based on the logistics, as you were saying.
Yeah.
But then there's a bigger issue, the entire issue as to whether or not the president has this right or the courts have this right.
Yeah,
so in the briefing that you're talking about, what happens?
They're going to argue the similar points that was just, so the Ninth Circuit just came out with a decision yesterday.
Right.
And that was whether or not they were going to stay.
Keep it, yeah.
Right? But there's still arguments that have to be made fully to the Ninth Circuit.
Over the phone again?
Yeah, no, it's going to be fully briefed and in court.
I think that's a good idea.
They talked about due process, okay, because one of the big criticisms of this executive order is that it did not provide notice and opportunity to litigate for the people that are affected. That's a due process argument.
So the entire thing could be reversed in March?
It could be reversed by the Ninth Circuit at the end of the month, but probably unlikely.
Okay.
Because this three-judge panel already issued an opinion.
They've shown how
and it's going to be very unlikely for them to reverse themselves.
All right, David, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
All right, Heather.